This document will increase your Social Security check by 40%. Stop scrolling. Seriously, if you are on Social Security right now, or if you are planning to collect it in the next few years, you need to hear what I am about to tell you, because most people, and I mean the vast majority of people, are leaving hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars on the table every single month, and they have absolutely no idea it's happening. And here's the thing that really gets me. It's not because they're doing anything wrong. It's because nobody ever sat them down and explained this stuff in plain English. So that's what we're going to do today. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly how to potentially increase your Social Security check by up to 40%. And yes, that number is real, and yes, it is legal, and yes, it applies to a lot of people watching this right now. Let's start from the beginning, because I want to make sure everyone is on the same page here. Social Security is not just a check that shows up in your bank account every month. It is a system, a complicated rule-filled system, that actually rewards you for knowing how it works. The Social Security Administration, the SSA, has built in multiple strategies, timing windows, and benefit adjustments that can dramatically change how much money you receive. But here's what a lot of people don't realize. The SSA does not call you up and say, "Hey, by the way, you could be getting more." They don't send you a letter. They don't walk you through your options. They simply pay you what you apply for, and if you applied at the wrong time or missed a key strategy, that's on you. Which is exactly why we are having this conversation today. Now, I want to walk you through the main ways people increase their Social Security benefit. And I'm going to explain each one in plain English, because this is not rocket science when someone breaks it down for you. The first thing we need to talk about is your full retirement age, which the SSA calls your FRA. This is the age at which you are entitled to receive your full unreduced Social Security benefit. For most people watching this right now, anyone born in 1960 or later, that age is 67. Not 65, not 62. It's 67. And this matters enormously because the age at which you choose to start collecting your benefits is the single biggest lever you have when it comes to how much money you receive every month for the rest of your life. Here's the thing most people get wrong. They hear they can start collecting at 62, and they think, "Great, free money, I'll start early." And I completely understand that instinct. 62 years old, you've been working your whole life. You've been paying into this system for decades, and now someone's telling you that you can start getting paid. Of course you want to take it. But here is what happens when you do. If you claim Social Security at 62, 5 years before your full retirement age of 67, your monthly benefit is permanently reduced by up to 30%. Not temporarily. Not until you reach 67. Permanently. For every single month you collect for the rest of your life, you are getting 30% less than you would have gotten if you had just waited. Let me put a real number on that so it sinks in. If your full retirement age benefit would have been $2,000 a month, claiming at 62 means you are now getting $1,400 a month instead. That's $600 less every single month. Over 10 years, that's $72,000 you left on the table. Over 20 years, that's over $140,000. Stay with me, because it actually gets even more interesting on the other side of that equation. If you can wait past your full retirement age, not just to 67, but beyond it, your benefit actually grows. The SSA calls this delayed retirement credits. For every year you delay claiming beyond your full retirement age, up until age 70, your monthly benefit increases by 8%. That is a guaranteed 8% return on your money, every single year, just for waiting. There is almost no investment in the world that guarantees you 8% annually. And when you do the math, wait from 67 all the way to 70, and your benefit has grown by 24% compared to what it would have been at 67. Now combine that with the penalty you avoided by not claiming at 62, and you are looking at a swing of up to 76% difference between the worst-case claiming strategy and the best-case claiming strategy. For a lot of people, that difference comes out to right around 40% or more in monthly income, and that is exactly where that number in our title comes from. Now let me give you a real-life example, because I think this hits different when you put a human face on it. Let's talk about a woman. We'll call her Margaret. Margaret turned 62 in 2026. She's tired. She's worked hard. Her full retirement age benefit, if she waited until 67, would be $2,400 a month. But Margaret decides to claim early at 62 because she figures she needs the money now and she's not sure how long she'll live, so she starts collecting. Her monthly check? About $1,680. Fast forward 15 years. Margaret is 77. She is healthy. She is still collecting that same reduced check every month forever. Now compare that to her friend Linda, same age, same full retirement benefit, $2,400 a month. Linda waits until 70. Her benefit grows to about $2,976 a month. Linda is now collecting nearly $1,300 more every month than Margaret. Every single month. And as the years go by, that gap only grows larger, especially when you factor in the annual cost of living adjustments, the COLAs, because those percentage increases are applied to a larger base number for Linda than for Margaret. Linda's Social Security, over the long run, is working like a completely different engine than Margaret's. Same system, same rules, completely different outcome. This part is important, so I want you to really hear this. I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, but what if I don't make it to 70? What if I claim at 70 and then something happens? And that is a completely valid thing to think about. This decision is not one size fits all. There are real situations where claiming early makes sense. If you have serious health issues, if you have no other income and genuinely need the money right now, if you have a spouse whose benefits will be higher and who is likely to outlive you, there are legitimate reasons to claim early. I am not here to tell you there is one right answer for everyone. What I am here to tell you is that you deserve to understand all of your options before you make this decision, because it is one of the most financially permanent decisions of your retirement life. Once you claim and you are past the 12-month window to withdraw your application, that choice is locked in. Let's take a step back and talk about another massive opportunity that people miss. Spousal benefits. If you are married, or even if you were married, because divorced spouses can qualify too, you may be entitled to collect a benefit based on your spouse's work record rather than your own. The spousal benefit can be up to 50% of your spouse's full retirement age benefit. Now here's where it gets really interesting. If your own Social Security benefit, based on your own work history, is lower than 50% of your spouse's benefit, you can get the higher amount. The SSA will essentially bump you up to the spousal benefit level. And for women who took time off to raise children or who worked in lower-paying jobs, this can be a game changer. We're talking about potentially hundreds of dollars more every month, just from understanding that this option exists. And here is something a lot of people absolutely do not know. If you are a divorced spouse, and your marriage lasted at least 10 years, and you are currently unmarried, you can claim spousal benefits on your ex-spouse's record even if they have remarried. Your claiming their record does not reduce their benefit at all. It does not affect them in any way. This is money that is available to you that a lot of people have no idea they are entitled to. Now, I want to address something that has been in the news and that a lot of people have been asking about in 2026, and that is the issue of Social Security's long-term funding. You have probably heard the headlines. There is a lot of noise out there about Social Security being in trouble, about the trust fund running out, about benefits being cut. And I want to be honest with you about this, because I think the noise is not always helpful. Here is what the Social Security trustees have projected. The combined trust funds are facing a potential shortfall in the coming decade if Congress does not act. But here is also what is true. Social Security has never missed a payment in its entire history, and even in a worst-case scenario where no legislative action is taken, the program would still be able to pay out roughly 80 to 83% of scheduled benefits from incoming payroll taxes. That is not ideal, but it is also not zero. And here's what I really want you to understand. Congress has intervened to fix Social Security funding issues before, in 1983, and virtually every credible analyst expects them to do it again. Politicians on both sides of the aisle are not going to let Social Security collapse for current and near-future retirees. That is political suicide, and they know it. So please, do not make your claiming decision out of fear that Social Security is going away. That is not a sound basis for one of the most important financial decisions of your life. Now let me talk about one more strategy that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and that is the idea of working longer and continuing to pay into the system. Your Social Security benefit is calculated based on your highest 35 years of earnings. If you worked for 30 years, the SSA fills in 5 zeros for those missing years, which drags your average down. If you worked 35 years, but some of those years were low-income years early in your career, every additional year you work at a higher income replaces one of those lower years in the calculation. People who work a few extra years at their peak earning years are sometimes shocked at how much their projected benefit goes up. It doesn't take decades of extra work. Sometimes just 2 or 3 more years of work at the right point in your career can noticeably move that needle. I also want to give you a quick word of warning, because this is something that comes up a lot. There are scammers out there right now specifically targeting Social Security recipients. They call, they send emails, they even send official-looking letters claiming that your Social Security number has been suspended, that there is a problem with your account, or that you need to verify your information to continue receiving benefits. Here's what you need to know. The Social Security Administration will never call you out of the blue and demand personal information. They will never threaten to suspend your number. If you get a call like this, hang up. If you get an email like this, do not click any links. The real SSA communicates primarily through official mail, and if you have an account at ssa.gov, through your online portal. Protect yourself. These scammers are sophisticated, and they are specifically targeting older Americans who receive these benefits. Please share this warning with everyone you know who is on Social Security. So what should you actually do with all of this information? Here is the practical part. First, go to ssa.gov and create a My Social Security account if you don't already have one. Once you're in, you can see your full earnings history, your projected benefit at different ages, and your current status. This is free. It takes 15 minutes. And it will give you real numbers specific to your situation, not just general estimates. Second, if you are within 5 to 10 years of retirement, I want you to seriously consider meeting with a financial advisor who specializes in Social Security optimization. Not all financial advisors understand Social Security strategy deeply. Ask them specifically if they do before you commit. The cost of that consultation is almost certainly less than what you could gain from making the right claiming decision. Third, if you have a spouse, do this exercise together. The spousal and survivor benefit strategies are most powerful when you plan them as a household, not as individuals. The higher earner delaying as long as possible, for example, can protect the lower earning spouse in the event the higher earner passes away first, because the survivor benefit steps up to the higher check. That is not something to leave to chance. And finally, check your earnings record. Log into your ssa.gov account and look at your earnings history year by year. If there is a year where you clearly worked and your earnings show as 0 or lower than they should be, that is a mistake that will cost you in your benefit calculation. You can dispute it, you can correct it, but you need to do it before you claim because it becomes much harder to fix after the fact. These are real errors that happen, and real people lose real money because of them. Here's the bottom line. Social Security is not a fixed amount that you have no control over. It is a system with real rules, real strategies, and real differences in outcome depending on how you approach it. A 40% difference in your monthly check is not a fantasy. It is a mathematical reality that plays out for millions of Americans who either understood the system or didn't. The information you just watched is available to everyone, but most people never take the time to learn it. You just did. Don't leave money on the table. Don't let fear or confusion or just not knowing drive one of the biggest financial decisions of your retirement. Go check your account. Look at your numbers. Have the conversation with your spouse or your family. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because I promise you, someone in your circle is about to make a claiming decision that they haven't fully thought through. Be the person who helps them get it right. And if you want more content like this, plain English, no fluff, just real information that affects your real life, make sure you are subscribed. I'll see you in the next one.